Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dakman Productions, and welcome to Kinda Hey Rail. This will be my own take on the brand new Lionel 2021 catalog, as I'm sure there'll be plenty of other YouTube channels that'll also be reviewing and putting their own spin on this catalog. Once again, this will be my own take on the catalog, my likes, my dislikes, basically what I'm looking for on Conahee Rail High Rail O gauge layout, and so we'll go from there. So there was a lot of leaks with the new Lionel 2021 catalog. There was some stuff in there I was able to see beforehand that was posted on YouTube that I liked, and there was stuff that was a little disappointing. But I'm glad that the actual physical catalog is finally out, so let's take a look at that. So the one thing I'm liking at this point in time is the line-out voice control with voice commands. The new locomotives that are coming out, I do like that feature. I also like the voice streaming and recording, where you can stream or record custom announcements for any line-out locomotive that has the Bluetooth 5.0 engine. So I'm looking forward to future releases that has the Bluetooth 5.0 to see how that actually works and actually put my own voice in there. And I think this is a great idea to be more interactive with the trains. And also the Lion Chief Bluetooth app. I haven't tried that yet, but I heard that's a pretty nice feature as well. So let's start out with the O scale part of the catalog. Everything that's O scale is true scale or true 148 dimensions. So we'll be looking at that lineup first. So for me, a point of interest is Lionel released the Camelback steam locomotives again. It's been quite some time since they were out last. And in particular is the Central Railroad New Jersey, or CNJ number 774. Um, I'm probably going to go ahead and pre-order one of these, only because the CNJ actually ran through my town years ago during the 50s, pulling passenger trains and coal trains. So, yeah, Conahee Rail might actually get a steam locomotive. And the preliminary plan is to run an excursion train with it. So I'm not up in the air if I, buy Jersey Central passenger cars from Lionel or past ones that were made from MTH. Don't know yet, but I definitely want to run an excursion train so that that wonderful Statue of Liberty on the tender and 774 at Central New Jersey or at Jersey Central. That's looking pretty good to me. Alright, so we're into the legacy diesel part of the catalog. Still O scale, still scale, size trains, one true 148 scale. And and this is the type of locomotive that Conahee Rail likes. I like diesel locomotives the most. For me, none of these SD70 Aces do anything for me. So I will not be ordering any SD70 Ace locomotives. Um, Nothing really tickles my fancy as far as this build order. But on another note, there seems to be a lot of fantasy paint schemes on the legacy lineup. I know people will probably hate me for saying this, but if I'm going to spend the money on top of the line O scale legacy locomotives that are supposed to be true to scale, I would expect more prototypical paint schemes and maybe one or two fantasy paint schemes, not the other way around where there's all fantasy paint schemes and only one is prototypical. So that part of it is like a disappointment for me. So right now is coming back out with a GP30 and some road names there. And for those of you who are Reading and Northern fans, they're coming out with a Reading and Northern GP30. And that Sioux line is looking pretty good. But once again, nothing here matches what I'm running on Conahay Rail. So, even though a couple locomotives look good to me, I'll be passing these by as well. So I came across this page of the SW8 switchers, a new tooling and build to order. I was very excited to see that Lionel is actually offering one of the SW8 locomotives and the Conrail road name. However, when I read the features on it, these locomotives only have a single motor in them. So that's a little bit disappointing. I was hoping that they were dual motor, but they are not. They're only a single motor, according to what I'm reading in the features. So I will not be getting an SW8 like I thought I was. So I'm glad I waited for the catalog to come out so I could actually read up on it and before I went crazy ordering stuff. One thing that caught my eye was the Conrail 65-foot mill gondola. You can see here where it is actually weathered, or the paint's coming through where it used to be Penn Central. It's actually hard to tell on the website, but I'll definitely be getting that gondola. Another thing I noticed is that Lionel brought back the Standard O line of freight cars. For those of you who don't know, the Lionel Standard O lineup is still a full scale or true scale freight car, 148 dimensions. It just doesn't have as much detailing as the normal O scale lineup. So it gets you into in a true scale for a little bit less money. But it does also have less details. Okay, on this page, the biggest interest to me is the Conrail TMCC tamper. Um, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to get one of those. So this tamper here, um, I am definitely going to pre-order one of them for a Conahay Rail. I think that would be a perfect addition because there was even today there's a lot of Conrail MOW type of equipment out there. And that brings us to the O gauge part of the catalog. So the Lionel O gauge lineup part of the catalog is stuff that is semi-scale or not full scale. So I just wanted to let you guys know the difference between O scale and O gauge. The O scale part of the catalog is stuff that's true 148 scale. O gauge is the semi-scale stuff, or some people call it the O27 stuff. Now the O gauge part of me, I like a little bit of fantasy stuff when it comes to the semi-scale because I do have Conahay Rail traditional layout, but it seems as though there's a lot better choices in the O gauge part than there is in the O scale part. Uh, for the GP7, I like that Atlantic coastline, the B&O and the Rock Island. They look pretty nice, and I'm an EMD fan, so and the MKT looks pretty good too. I mean, those four locomotives are pretty neat. And for those of you who are a John Deere person or like John Deere tractors, Lionel has you covered on this page. It seems like a lot of things with the John Deere name on it is pretty popular. And they even have a John Deere service garage. So that's pretty cool. Well, if you like bright green and Area 51 stuff, uh, here's a lot of Area 51 uh, products that Lionel is coming out with. So there's a series of Star Trek themed trains that Lionel is doing. Kind of funny because I used to watch a lot of Star Trek when I was a kid. And here we have some Star Trek rolling stock to go with the train. And Lionel seems to be doing Budweiser train and some products to go along with that as well. So it's cool to see Lionel do a couple different O gauge train sets here. Uh, One steam era for those who like steam, and then something a little bit more modern with the diesel. And then you have some real modern trains for the kids who want to have what they see running on the railroads. And again, this is O gauge, it's semi scale, but you have a GE locomotive pulling spine cars, and then you have a Norfolk Southern uh, pulling some modern trains. But again, this is semi-scale. These are not full-scale trains. I see Lionel did a Ford and a Chevy dealership. I'm wishing that they did a Dodge one, but I'm guessing or going to assume they couldn't get the license to do that. But well, maybe one day they'll do a Dodge dealership. I see Lionel has added Navy cars to their Wings of Angels series. And check out these Molson Coors box cars. They're kind of neat too. It's kind of neat to see Lionel adding some modern freight cars to their O gauge lineup, such as these maxi stack intermodal cars. For those of you who are interested in the Polar Express, there is a ton of Polar Express trains and freight cars to pick from and accessories. As you can see here, there's just lots of choices for the Polar Express. So once again, my picks are going to be the 460 Camelback, the CNJ. This is something that hasn't been made in a while. I know Lionel did a TMCC one and a Legacy a while back, but I'm definitely seriously considering getting the CNJ 774 to run as a excursion train on Kanahe Rail. My other pick or second pick out of the catalog I'm interested in is the Conrail gondola. Let's take a better look at this thing here. And as you can see, it's it's highly weathered and stained, and so this is something you would see on a real railroad. This is the 65-foot mill gondola. Again, this is O scale, meaning it's true 148 scale. One thing that I originally wanted but quickly axed was the new Conrail SW8 locomotive. When I seen the price, I kind of figured there's something wrong. It was kind of like cheap. And then I noticed that it says underneath the features that it's only a single motor. So I'm no longer interested in that because it's only a single motor. I'm definitely interested in the TMCC Tamper. We'll take a look at that. As you can see, they have one in the Conrail road name. Uh, Even today, you still see a ton of Conrail NOW equipment out there. For anybody who doesn't know, Conrail still exists somewhat as Conrail shared assets. So most of the Conrail name is being used on the MOW or track maintenance equipment. So I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with Dakman Productions at Kanahe Rail. That's my take on the catalog. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion, my likes. The catalog is available online if you cannot get it on paperback or get to your hobby shop. It is on the Lionel website. And thank you for watching, and hope to see you guys next video.